Skip and Skip X Embed X Share Close. The Irish knocked off the Wolfpack 35-14 Saturday. Lake and Littman, Indy Star. Could Brian Kelly have the Fighting Irish back in the national title chase? Photo: Bob Donnan. Bob Donnan, USA Today Sports. Story highlights Wake Forest at Notre Dame. 3:30 p.m. Saturday. NBC. South Bend. The College Football Playoff Selection Committee will release its first poll of the season Tuesday night, and it's possible that after going 4-8 1 year ago, Notre Dame could be in the top 4. Here's why. The 7-1 Fighting Irish are coming off consecutive victories of 20 points or more against top 15 opponents and have convincingly beat 3 teams contending for Power 5 conference championships: Michigan State, USC, North Carolina State. Its only loss is by 1 point to Georgia, a team that could win the SEC. It's a RSUM that will stir much debate among the 13-person committee, because there are only 4 spots in the current playoff structure. One Power 5 conference is always going to be left out. Add in Notre Dame and 2 will be without a representative. When ESPN showed its initial playoff projection over the weekend, it had 2 SEC teams in Alabama and Georgia in the NOS 1 and 2 slots, followed by Notre Dame and Clemson, leaving out 3 Power 5 conferences. Skip and Skip X Embed X Share Close. Adams ran for 202 yards and a touchdown. Lake and Littman, Indy Star. The charge to the selection committee by the management committee was really clear. It was pick the 4 best teams. Notre Dame athletic director Jack Swarbrick said in a recent interview with Indy Star. He was asked if the Irish are a tricky situation for the selection committee given their independence. "I have great confidence in the committee's ability to navigate," Swarbrick continued. "There are all kinds of differences among the teams they evaluate, and they work hard and look at the criteria available to them to make those decisions. But the challenge is to find the 4 best teams. There's no qualification on that. Notre Dame will find out Tuesday night if it's one of the 4 best teams at this point in the season. It's most likely competing with other one-loss teams: Clemson, Ohio State, Penn State, and Oklahoma, while Alabama and Georgia will presumably occupy the top 2 spots with their 8-0 records." Let's pause quickly to remember that there are still 5 weeks of the regular season to play out between now and Dec. 3 when the committee issues its final ranking. There will be shakeup between now and then because this is college football. Skip and Skip X Embed X Share Close. Notre Dame insider Lake and Littman recaps the Irish's win over the Wolfpack. Lake and Littman, Indy Star. Let's also remember that the first poll doesn't reflect the final one. For example, when the first playoff rankings came out in October 2014, Mississippi State was No. 1, followed by Florida State, Auburn, and Ole Miss. Only the Seminoles went to the playoff that year. The last 2 years, only 2 teams in the first poll made the final group. On the flip side, there is no reason for fans to fret should Notre Dame be ranked outside the top 4. Last year Ohio State started at No. 6 after losing to Penn State but ended up in the playoff. 2 years ago Oklahoma was ranked No. 15 in the first poll but went to the playoff. Point is, crazy things always happen in the final weeks. Georgia and Alabama still have to play Auburn and potentially each other in the SEC title game. Clemson has to play NC State and potentially Miami in the ACC championship. Ohio State, only lost to Oklahoma, has to play Michigan State, Michigan, and win the Big Ten. And Oklahoma must beat Oklahoma State, TCU, and win the Big 12. It's certainly possible for Notre Dame to run the table. Then the Irish could have the best RSUM of all one-loss teams regardless of the fact that it cannot play for a conference championship as an independent and can only get to 11 wins. after blowing out USC and NC State. The Irish have a few challenges left, with trips to undefeated Miami in a season finale against Stanford, who could still win the Pac-12. It would be hard to imagine the committee excluding a team with a strength of schedule like that. Follow Indy star Notre Dame insider Laken Littman on Twitter and Instagram @Laken Littman. More Irish coverage. Defensive back Love likes scoring. 2. 3 takeaways from Notre Dame's win over the Wolfpack.